Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some interesting news going on over here where it comes to the future of the PlayStation and PlayStation ecosystem, as well as brand new games coming to PlayStation, brand new games coming to other consoles as well, and kind of just a really big mix-up in the gaming sphere. Now, as you guys probably know, the big kind of, conversation throughout this entire year has been Xbox slowly becoming more of a publisher. You know, they're trying to go and release games out on PlayStation. They've been doing quite well. We saw like Forza do phenomenal. We've seen potential Halo listings, for the brand new Halo as well. Just a lot of big crazy things coming, and a lot of old school games too as well that have already moved over from Xbox to PlayStation, and they've done relatively well. And it kind of works out because Xbox is making money, and it's like letting them kind of publish a little bit more and take a step back from being a console, and then lets them, run Game Pass, try to go have day one games on Game Pass to get PC users, and of course move towards handhelds, TVs, whatever. And then PlayStation obviously is the number one console right now in terms of this current generation. The Switch 2 is doing phenomenal, and I'm sure it'll overtake it at some point, but I think you guys can understand, a little bit of a caveat. But right now, a brand new PlayStation job listing has a lot of people freaking out. Brand new Xbox games coming, and I want to hear your thoughts and comments on everything down below. So make sure you guys are subscribed to as well. I appreciate y'all so much for watching. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below, and I'll talk to you guys all throughout this video, I guess, over here. So let's go talk about some fun news. Where first and foremost, we've had this brand new job application come out over here from the jobs at Sony Interactive Entertainment, with the Senior Director, Multi-Platform and Account Management over here, as they're trying to go and hire from PlayStation. Now, a lot of fans, now we may not know exactly what this will be, but a multi-platform and account management is most likely, and most people are assuming, alluding towards PlayStation bringing their games to other platforms. Now, we've been seeing a very wide influx of Switch 2 news. Now, Xbox is 50, we're not sure. Xbox is definitely more of a direct competitor to PlayStation, although Switch probably is the bigger competitor. I'd actually want to hear your thoughts down below on this, but I would probably say the Switch is has a bigger market share, has a bigger competition versus PlayStation. But I'm sure most people would agree it's usually a PlayStation versus Xbox. So there's a weird unilateralness between the two. But anyway, PlayStation would be in their best interest to port games over to Xbox, and probably more so on the Switch. Probably more on the Switch too, because it's not as a graphically, it's one is mobile at this point more so, one is console. It's somewhat different demographics. That's once again why it's kind of more PlayStation versus Xbox. I think you guys get what I'm saying. But anyway, there's this brand new listing over here where they want to have these key responsibilities. Saying oversee the out of year mid-range commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios. So notice they specifically mentioned PlayStation Studios titles across all non-PlayStation platforms, driving long-term revenue growth and audience reach. Now, this can lead towards a lot of different things. Mainly, for sure, Steam. PlayStation bringing more games titles to Steam potentially quicker. Now, they've already been doing this for the past few years. It's been doing phenomenal, and it's all around good stuff. I like that this is happening. I would like to see more games coming day one to Steam or quicker. Xbox. We haven't seen too many PlayStation games go on Xbox. We've seen a few dabble. Most namely, we've mentioned throughout the years, has been MLB The Show, that was actually even on Game Pass, although it was a PlayStation game. Interesting to note on that. But we haven't seen too many big games, say a Spider-Man on Xbox, or God of War on Xbox, Ratchet and Clank on Xbox, etc. So that's very surprising. But that might be a potential possibility. We're not sure. Xbox has given PlayStation so many games, so why can't PlayStation do the same? As we mentioned, though, we've been seeing a lot more leaks on Switch, which also would make a lot more sense. Imagine a game like Ratchet and Clank would do great on the Switch. And games like Horizon would do great in the Switch. Lego Horizon would do great on the Switch. Spider-Man, etc. If the graphics can work, why not? And I think it would also work well on the Switch. And of course, with the Switch having a bigger install base and primarily more family/children, I think it has a bigger potential, plus also it's already mobile as well, that can kind of get a lot more sales on that. But also Xbox. Why would Xbox not want it? You can even put it on PC through the Microsoft Store, maybe, but it kind of gets weird on the ratios of what people are getting back on it. And they'd probably rather just list on Steam, because then it's not fueling more stuff for their competitor. But, why not? Either way, I'd also probably say mobile too as well. Expanding out the mobile games, mobile IP is going to be a big deal for this too on top of that one, because it is technically also a non-PlayStation platform. Studio partnership and influence. That is the primary commercial liaison and escalation point for heads of production and studio leads, securing alignment to buy in or go to market strategies and publishing policies. Basically saying like, hey, like you want to be the decision maker for these things to see if you're going to go and push for certain things, buy certain things, go to market. It's just normal stuff. And then also go to market execution, partner with marketing, product, and global publishing teams, which would also mean if you're, say, with Switch, you'd work with Nintendo, or you'd work with Nintendo's marketing team, or maybe they have their own subsection for indie games, like AAA games, or whatever it might be. Even maybe potentially working with things like, say, Nintendo Directs. So it would make a lot of sense too as well. But you see, execute cohesion launch plans and lifestyle strategies for multi-platform titles. So this also be, say, we want to really say live service game. We've discussed live service games very in-depth these past few years too. So let's say there is some that have still been greenlit, even think things like Helldivers, etc., have that be able to be launched on Xbox simultaneously, because the more players in the ecosystem, the more the game's alive, the better it is, etc., cross-play, all of that. It seems really cool. So obviously people have been making note of this. People are excited for this one too as well. And it's just people are curious on what it's going to turn into, because it can be a few different things. I think it will probably be a lot more in terms of expanding, I think, on the Switch too. If I had to guess. So you also want to direct and develop a team of senior managers across multi-platform strategy, account management, platform sales, and planning. So why would you care about platform sales if you're not also discussing other platforms? It makes a lot of sense too. Multi-platform strategy, account management, Direct reports include senior management platform sales, manager platform planning and performance. So platform planning, multi-platform strategy, platform sales, that's just how it is. You have to have a pretty good resume though. You have to look at all this type of stuff. Proven ability to lead multiple multi-platform strategy and drive performance across global accounts. Excellent communication, experience leading high-performing teams too as well with global global strategic planning. Like, it just kind of seems a lot of this is going to be more towards expanding it out. But we also have even seen even more things. Now, we know a lot of Xbox games have been coming to PlayStation, and as well, this is why it can go both ways. So whether it's more on Steam, whether more on Epic Games Store, mobile, or on top of this on Xbox and the Switch, either way, we do see all of these games coming from Xbox to the PlayStation. So State of Decay 3, Gears of War E-Day, and of course we know other prior games are coming to PlayStation, or even things like Indiana Jones, which was a PlayStation game, Starfield, all these. Even future, the next Skyrim. I know it's not Skyrim, but whatever. The next Elder Scrolls. But yeah, there's also now news too as well that Gears of War Reloaded too on top of this one had a chance to arrive on PlayStation. The new remaster of the original built on Unreal Engine 5 set to launch in the Xbox Series X, XPC, and PS5 in August of 2025. I'll probably just do it on Game Pass myself, but still, that's cool to see in PS5. And then given this, it's no longer a stretch to imagine that the franchise's next major installment, Gears of War E-Day, will also debut on Sony's console. So this really is a big, big to go and see this on top of this one too. It's just awesome. And there also is even more job listings from the coalition for a senior online client engineer for the title sought candidates with experience on platforms like the PlayStation Network. So we're seeing these multi-platform and account management types over here, and then we're seeing even more people on top of this for the PlayStation Network and from Xbox. So it kind of seems like this kind of fits the bill. This person over here, they'd have some of their own Xbox head honchos able to be like, hey, let's go and have you have a higher up title to then report to the PlayStation multi-platform person and have a good business relationship. So say games like Gears of War can be launched on PlayStation day one or very closely, and then maybe in the future PlayStation games coming to Xbox, and of course as well PlayStation games going on the Switch. Xbox obviously wants their games on the Switch. They've said so publicly many different times too as well. So no one really knows if it will be a launch platform. And most people also would be assuming that it will be a port release, at least after the initial Xbox launch, no matter what. So we've kind of been seeing after 6 months or a year, I feel like 1 year is usually the golden number a lot of people are looking for. It would kind of make sense. But either way, a lot of these games are coming. State of Decay 3 is coming. Indiana Jones came. All these games like Forza did very well on PlayStation. Things like Grounded had a new update, and I think also Grounded 2 is also coming as well. And we also can see this new expansion for the Switch 2, with more games coming on the Switch 2 because it just is a better console. And obviously they're gonna probably let Nintendo get the first year or so for games and start porting over more when they have a chance to. So I think this is a big deal because this is kind of PlayStation expanding and kind of soaking in Xbox, and we'll see if more Xbox and Switch 2 users can have a chance to get the console as well. So give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. I appreciate you guys all very much for watching. You guys are all beautiful. Subscribe if you guys are new, and yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed.